Hey there, my name is Lexi, and thank you so much for tuning in to the LexChat. LexChat is a show dedicated to music and the entertainment industry, where we talk about the industry and the business, and we help each other to become better artists and better creatives. So if you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back. Today, we are talking about creating a system for yourself as a creative. You got to create a system. What do I mean by a system or a process? So there are so many different things that we have to worry about as creatives, and I'm mainly speaking on the music side as an artist. But if you're not on the music side, then you as a creative, you just need to figure out a system and a process for yourself. So we're recording, we're mixing, we're mastering, we are doing photo shoots and video shoots and creating content and registering songs and doing shows and, writing down lyrics and submitting lyrics and distributing lyrics. It's just, there's so many things that go into being an artist that's really not talked about, and it's not given as much love as other facets of the industry, of the business, which, understandable. Some parts look more glamorous than others, but it is super important that we are addressing all parts of this business that we are involved in. And so I want to talk to you today about creating a system, creating a process for yourself to stay disciplined within this music business. Alrighty. Before we get into that, I have some announcements that I want to talk to you about. If you have not already, go check out my song Labels, Paid For, produced by Gray Keys. It's an amazing record. I really feel like mostly my ladies are gonna relate to this one, but fellas, don't feel left out. It's a great song. It's me switching between singing and rapping, and basically labels. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear labels? You think of fancy, you think of clothes, you think of cars, all these different labels, right? Dudes, y'all be quick to pay for these labels to wear on your back. But when it comes to being labeled in a relationship, y'all be scared. What's up with that? So ladies, if you're rocking with a label, make sure that it's paid for. That's the whole premise of the song. I'm very proud of it. It's very clever in my humble opinion, right? But make sure y'all check that out. It's called Labels, Paid For by LexC. It's on all major streaming platforms. Let me know what you think about it, and then come back and tell me what you thought about it. Put it in the comment section down below. Alrighty. Next up, I don't have any upcoming shows or events to tell y'all about, but I do want to tell you about Magic Mind before we get into our topic. So Magic Mind is a mental performance elixir, and it uses natural organic or ingredients to achieve focus, stress management, and better cognition and better energy. Yes, focus, energy, and better cognition. So they have a lot of great natural organic or ingredients like ashwagandha, lion's mane mushroom, L-theanine, turmeric. A lot of these things are sourced in Asia, India, and parts of North America. So organic, it's good for the body. It is really a really good taste as well. And they're these little green shots in a little tiny bottle. They're most beneficial to me because since I've been using Magic Mind, I'm a lot more focused on my tasks, especially when I use it daily, which is when you're going to feel the greatest effect. Each day I feel more focused. I feel less stressed about the things that I have to get done. So I would love for y'all, and speaking of systems, because today that's our topic, right? It helps me to stay in tune with what I need to get done to make sure I'm staying disciplined within the system that I have created for myself. So I would want you to be able to benefit from those things as well if you find yourself struggling. So you can go to magicmind.com/Lexi20 to get 20% off of your order of Magic Mind. You can get 15 bottles, you can get 30 bottles, you can get more than that if you want to. But if you use my code Lexi20 at checkout, you will get 20% off of your order. Alrighty, and that's how they're gonna know that Lexi sent you. So y'all check that out. And now let's get into the topic of systems and creating a system for yourself as an artist. I was inspired to do this topic because I recently pretty much bashed myself. And I know that sounds negative, but I believe that every so often, maybe once a quarter, right? So like 4 times a year, we should do like an audit of ourselves. Much in the same way that like a traditional job would have like a performance report, we should be auditing ourselves as artists on the business side for our creativity, and then just as people on a personal side. You know, what have I done well in the past X amount of time? What did I struggle with? Why did I do well on those things? Why did I struggle with those things? What's the common denominator? What up, Biz? Oh, I haven't seen you in forever. What's up? I saw Tukey the other day at a listening party for me and my boy El Cardi. We're doing a project together. And I saw Schoolie at Death Star maybe like a month ago. But what's up, Biz? Gotta catch up. I ain't seen you in years. But anyway, get back into my podcast. I got excited. I ain't seen him in a minute. But yeah, what was I saying? So every so often we should do an audit of ourselves and figure out our strengths and weaknesses, what worked well, what didn't, why did it work well, why did it not, and how can we get more of the things we want, and how can we improve on the things, the results, and the outcomes that we don't want to happen. So in saying all of that, right, I was picking at myself one day and I was like, it's really crazy how I am an audio engineer and an artist, but it's really crazy how I put so much more energy into everyone else's music before myself. Now, I am in a special predicament because music funds my life, and engineering and work in any kind of sound job, it takes precedence over my own creativity, as it does with most people, especially people with regular jobs. Y'all go through this all the time, but I have to pay my bills and supply and maintain my lifestyle, right? I'm not going to be able to make music if I ain't got nowhere to live because I'm stressed out about where I'm living. I'm stressed out about what I'm going to eat. I ain't got no food in the fridge because I ain't got no money. So what I'm saying is a lot of times I have to put other people ahead of me in the interest of making money so that I can pay my bills, right? I'm sure a lot of y'all can relate to that. And what ends up happening, unfortunately, I'll be telling my clients and my artists, like, yeah, we're just sitting on all this music. Like, what are you waiting for? Why haven't you dropped? Why haven't you done this? And then I had the realization one day, I'm like, oh my God, I have become one of those artists that has hundreds of songs sitting on a hard drive and have not seen the light of day. Maybe it was, and a lot of the stuff, I was working with other people and trying to get stuff placed. And we did absolutely nothing with the record. The records didn't get picked up, and then people just kind of forgot about them and threw them to the wayside. And then other things were like, I was just recording just to record. But as an artist, part of being an artist is subjecting your art to the public. And I tell my clients this all the time, you're over here stressing about things as if it has to be perfect. Nobody even knows you. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I love Beyonce. I'm not on a Beyonce level just yet. So certain things that I would stress myself out about, there's really no need to stress about it because I'm not like, oh, I need to drop on a Friday because that's the best time to do it. And I don't have the packaging and I don't have I don't have this and that excuses. We don't have to worry about that. But all of that to say, because I can tend to go on a tangent, I realize that I have a lot of songs that are just sitting there. And what is my problem when I'm doing an audit of myself? I became one of those artists who got a bunch of music just sitting on a hard drive, and I'm helping everybody else release their music and I'm not releasing my own. That's not cool. So what did I do? I came up with a plan, and this is where the systems come into place, okay? I came up with a plan to make sure that I will release music. And the other part that inspired this, right? I actually put, because this is just like the society we live in, I actually put more effort into keeping my social media posts consistent, more so than I do keeping my music releases consistent on these different platforms. So when I look at how I feed the algorithm on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, what else after Facebook? That's what I'm missing. When I look at how, and Twitter, when I look at how I'm feeding the algorithms on these, every single day I have something posting. there's no excuse for me to not at least drop one song a month, at least one song per month, right? So I chose a random number. My birthday is December 6th. And so I told myself, you know what? Why don't I just drop music on the 6th of every month? I don't care what day it falls on. It's not about following, industry trends. Because again, I don't necessarily have to play by those same rules because I'm not yet on that major level. So, why don't I just pick an arbitrary number that I can keep up with? And what's reasonable? I can reasonably do one song release per month. And how do I create a system to make sure that I will stay on top of this? How do I create a system to make sure that I will, do good? And I've talked about this before, but it's always great to get a refresher on this type of topic. So you got to look at, what do you want to accomplish? Alrighty. If we are looking at me as the example, I'm a music artist. I want to accomplish one release per month. Alrighty. So you got to do what's called reverse engineering. And I got this idea from Gary Vaynerchuk. Shout out to Gary V. You have to reverse engineer the outcome. All right. What is the outcome that I want? What's the outcome that I want? What's everything underneath that makes this outcome possible? Okay. So if I want to release one song a month, what does that mean? For me, it looks different because I got a bunch of music backed up. So I'm going to be working off of that. Right. But part of your process might have to include recording, mixing, and mastering, right? I don't really have to worry about that because I got back catalog. I could release 3 albums right now with the stuff that I got ready. So, but what do I want to do? Like, how do I make this a reality? Release is on the 6th, okay? What do I need? I need a song. What do I need? I need cover art. I'm not worried about lyric videos or music videos because that's just out of my budget right now. The outcome I want is one song released per month. And, oh no, I lost my train of thought. The outcome I want is one song a month. And the why, there we go. The outcome and the reason. Okay. The outcome that I want is one song per month. The reason I want to do this is to feed the algorithm on a consistent basis. So to keep consistency, and I can maintain the consistency of one per month. So what does that entail? Like I said, I still do have to make sure that the song is recorded, mixed, and mastered. It's a certain sound quality. So this is going to be a lot of setting a timeline for yourself, right? If I want at least 2 weeks of time before I push the button for distribution, and the 2 weeks is so that I can pitch it or whatever. So when it comes to creating this system, I'm thinking about getting the sound quality right, and I'm thinking about a basic packaging just being the cover art. I can create my own cover art using resources like Canva. I know a little bit about Photoshop as well. The quality on phone cameras these days is good enough and it crops out the picture for you if that's what you need it to do. So there's really no excuse, right? Or you can go on Google, or just don't be such a stickler about imagery. You can do a lot with your phone and the internet. That's the great part. So I get all these different things that I need, right? I need the sound quality, I need the packaging, and then I need the distribution, and then I need a little bit of marketing, right? That's four facets right there. What you're going to do is you're going to put yourself on a timeline. You got to find pockets in your schedule that's going to allow you to hit these milestones on a consistent basis. All right. So I haven't necessarily done that part for myself yet, but this is what I would suggest for you. Okay. That's 4 things. There are roughly 4 weeks in almost every month of the year. All right. Each week, make it a goal. I'm going to record this song and have it mixed and mastered by such and such date. While it's being mixed and mastered, I'm going to think of a cover art concept. I'm going to think of the imagery that will go with this project. Alrighty, so you can really put those 2 things together. And then when it comes to the distribution, for me, I've put it in my budget. It costs like $50 per release per month. I use CD Baby. That's just my distributor of choice. That's my preference. You might choose to go a DistroKid route, a TuneCore, United Masters. you might choose to go those routes to have your stuff distributed, right? Keep in mind what that budget looks like. Keep in mind what the cover art stuff looks like and what the mixing and the mastering and the recording looks like. Part of that system is creating out a budget, right? Create yourself a budget. Each month, I need this much money to be able to get this thing out. So for you, that might be mixing, mastering, recording, mixing, mastering. And then what is it going to cost to do the cover art? For me personally, I've learned how to do so many things by myself so that I don't have to worry about paying for everything. Music is very expensive to be a part of the industry and to like produce these things. The more that you can learn how to do by yourself and learn how to do it okay enough that it looks pretty good, you'll be better off for it. So for me, I can curtail a lot of my recording expenses, like the music portion. I can curtail a lot of those expenses because I'm an artist and I am an audio engineer. I have my own home studio and I have access to more professional sounding recording studios. My stuff from home sounds pretty good though, because I know what I'm doing by now. But you got to keep budget in mind, and then you have to think about what are the different facets. So recording, mixing, mastering, the cover art, and then the distribution. Like I said, for me, my distribution is about $50 per month per release, but it's going to be per month because I'm doing one release a month, right? So I need to make sure I have that. And then what does the marketing look like? So while, like I said, you could get the mixing and mastering and the cover art pretty much on the same timeline in the same week, especially if you pay somebody else to do your mixing and mastering during that process, which might take a week, maybe up to 2 weeks, although it shouldn't take that long for one song. During that process, think about the imagery, all right? Think about the imagery, and you're gonna think about what kind of content could I possibly do from this. If you have no idea what kind of content you can do from this, what I do is I go on Instagram and I look up #content ideas. And there are so many pages that will give you ideas. During this time, I wait until the release. So yeah, let me back it up a little bit. I'm sorry. And hopefully this is coming off as eloquent and like straight to the point as possible. So we talked about getting the song done, getting the imagery done, getting the distribution done. You select a date, all right, that you want it. The reason why I like to have at least 2 weeks out from the release date is because you can do things on the back end, like pitching the music to a playlist. So if you have at least 2 weeks before the release day, you can go on to Spotify for artists, for example, and click, hey, I have this upcoming release. I want to pitch this to a playlist. This is the mood. This is the vibe. This is the genre. Find a playlist, hopefully, to get it placed on. All right. Spotify has that feature. I don't know that like Apple or Tidal or Amazon or any other platform has that feature, but I know that with Spotify, that's why you want at least 2 weeks before the release to be able to pitch it to the playlist. You can have try to do same day releases, but also keep in mind that it can take 2 weeks to a month to get your music on everything, flush, right? So on social media, on playlists, on, streaming platforms, it can take up to 30 days on YouTube. So just keep that in mind. You don't want to be too antsy with releasing. There is a reason why you need some time, some cushion in between, the date that it needs to be out. So keep that in mind. So that's part of the system, right? Once I go through each step, what's next? What do I have to knock out on my checklist? Creating a checklist essentially is all we're talking about here. So I'll do that. And then I'll also come up with different ideas for how I can market this once the song is released. So something else that I'll do once I got my imagery done, I have an email list that I still keep up with. I will plan an email that I'm going to send either the day that the song is released, or I will plan it to be for a week or 2 weeks after the song has been released. That's part of my checklist. I have radio airplay that I pay for. That's part of my checklist. I'm going to buy such and such amount of credits and put it towards advertising this song, and that should carry it through such and such amount of time. That's part of the checklist. Copywriting the song, part of the checklist. And then again, how much is that going to run you? And then what's the last piece that I said? Just the marketing. So once the song is out, I have certain things that I like to do. During that phase where I'm thinking about like, how will I market this stuff? So there are some things that I can do before the song comes out. And then there are things that I like to do after the song comes out. Create a checklist for those things as well. So before it comes out, like I said, I'm pitching to different playlists. I'm thinking about the imagery, I'm thinking about the colors. I'm thinking about, are there certain standout lines within the music that will be easy to make a challenge for, be easy to make a dance for, be easy to make a skit for. And then once the song is released, it's been distributed to everything. Now it's on social media. So when I go on TikTok, I can find my own song and create whatever piece of content it was that I had as an idea. I can go to Instagram. I can go to YouTube Shorts. Does YouTube Shorts do that? I don't know actually. But I can go to TikTok. I can go to Instagram and I can create Reels and TikToks because my music is now there. I can distribute my lyrics through Music Match or Lyric Find. DistroKid makes it easy to distribute lyrics as well. So just all these different things that you got to keep in mind as an artist that comes into play. Keep it on a checklist. Like, it's gonna be a long list, but if you break it down week by week or even each day, like if this list ends up being like 30 things that you have to get done, then honestly it would take you 10 to 20 minutes every day. Just make sure you're checking something off of that list, and you do it for every single release. And that's an example of the system that I have for myself. Like I said, it might look a little different for you and whatever system you decide to create, but that is my system. Pick a song, get the sound up to par. I'll do an explicit version and a clean version if this is, because I'm just doing singles, right? This is not preparing for an album. An album is a whole different thing, but I just want to consistently feed the algorithm of the streaming platforms. So 1 time per month is my goal. And the reason why is to feed the algorithms of these streaming platforms. So I get my song, I make sure the sound quality is good, I make sure I have a clean and an explicit version. I think of a cover art and I get the cover art made. I'm thinking about the imagery. I'm thinking about the marketing, what I'm gonna do before the song comes out, what I'm gonna do after the song comes out. The song comes out and I'm putting everything into play. I said radio airplay, but also I now have a college radio directory. So part of my checklist is pitching the song to radio stations as well and trying to see where I can get it placed. Another bonus, like outside of the radio, you might also choose to do like sync licensing, trying to get your music into a TV show or a movie. That's all part of the process as well. But it's creating this system. What is a consistent attack that I'm going to have for every single release? And you just do that. And for me anyway, it's been doing me really well. Like as of this recording, I'm scheduled. I have like Labels Paid For came out August 6th. Do Better is coming out September 6th. And then A Soul Burdened is coming out October 6th. So I'm already ahead of the game with having those releases scheduled. Now, like for Do Better and A Soul Burdened, I have a dry erase board that I keep track of this stuff on, like where am I in the process. So I have a to-do column, I have a scheduled releases column, and then I have a needs marketing column. So to-do, sound quality, and cover art. Schedule the release, that's getting it onto the distribution, and the once it's released is like, that's the need marketing column. This is just a system that I created for myself, but needs marketing, when we're in the scheduled release column, it's scheduling the release on my distribution and then thinking of certain things, playlisting, pitching to radio stations, doing those kinds of things before the release. And then once the song is made public, it goes to my needs marketing column. And that's when I implement all of the other stuff. All right. So again, create a playlist for yourself, a checklist for yourself, playlist, checklist, tomato, tomato. Create a checklist for yourself. And this is your system. This is what you're going to do every single time you release something. And if you just keep the discipline of doing this all the time for every release and hitting all those points, you will put yourself in better position and give yourself a better likelihood of being discovered, in my opinion. And it's just showing that consistency. You know, if we can feed social media algorithms the same way, then there's no excuse as to why we can't feed. I mean, there's a money barrier, of course, but even if you don't pay for like the legacy fee on DistroKid, right? It's $20 a year to release your music. You don't have to have the nicest cover art. Just find a way to get it out there is what I'm saying. Create a system, keep discipline with it. Over time, things will naturally get better if you care about your art and your craft. Things will naturally get better. Just keep the discipline of having that system and moving through the system. Yeah, I think that's all I got. The last thing I want to say is when you have a system, it should be able to work whether you are involved or not. Like, ideally, it goes into like business and all of that, but you know, whatever. For the purposes of this podcast, we're going to keep it to the music. This is your system. This is how you're going to stay disciplined. This is the rotation that you keep every single month. Alrighty. Put a timeline to it and then stay on top of it. That's all you got to do. So yeah, that's all I got for you on this. Let me know what you think about this topic in the comment section down below. Do you understand what I'm saying? Will you take some of the breakdowns that I've told you about how I break my stuff up? Will you apply it to yourself? You know, what standard are you going to hold yourself to? And just be realistic about whether or not you can maintain that. If you can't, if you want to drop a song every single week, well, are you going to record 4 or 5 songs a month and get mixing and mastering done for 4 or 5 songs a month and get cover art done? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just make sure it's realistic for you, for your time, the time that you do have available and the budget that you do have available. That's the most important thing when it comes to creating a system. Something that is doable and realistic for you. This is what you can do and you can hit this goal every single month. Alrighty? So yeah, let me know if you like what I told you. Ask questions in the comment section if you have them. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this episode up. So last remarks before we go, make sure you like, share, and subscribe all this content. Leave reviews. I greatly appreciate those. Make sure you check out my latest release, Labels Paid For, produced by Gray Keys. That's available on all streaming platforms. And make sure you check out Magic Mind. If you need a little help staying focused and staying disciplined, for me anyway, Magic Mind has been a game changer for my daily routine. You can go to magicmind.com/Lexi20 to get 20% off of your order of Magic Mind. 20% off when you use the code LEXI20. That's LEXC20. Alrighty. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to LexChat today. I hope that I gave you some valuable information. And oh yeah, shout out to my patrons. That's what I gotta add. Mr. Flat Shows, Eldon, and Alton. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. I really appreciate y'all. And yeah, that's all I got for y'all today. Join me next time on the next LexChat. Until then, my name is Lexi. Peace.
Want me at home while he be running the streets? Keep me on call when you got bitches on your landline. This ain't your pussy, silly nigga, this is mine. Can't let you claim it if you don't give it no time. If this is how I gotta deal with you, it ain't no holding back, I gotta keep it real with you. And if that's what it is, nigga, that's just what it is. I won't disrespect you.